I gotta tell you, man, after all this nonsense in the Commonwealth, I'm just happy to be back. Let's go get these Germans. This move, it's better than fighting robots. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh wow. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, crap! Oh, where have I woke up? Oh, crap, I'm back here again. Hi, Preston. Good to see you. Where did I drift off to? Oh, nowhere special. Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Can You Beat Fallout 4 as a World War II Soldier. I did this for Fallout New Vegas and I may do it for Fallout 3 if people want to see it. But yeah, this video is simply, can I beat all the DLC as well? This video did unbelievably high views. I still can't believe it. It's around 90,000 views part 1. So when it came to doing a part 2, yeah, it seems like a very simple decision. If you guys saw the end of the Fallout 3 video, you saw the little Easter egg that I left at the end, and that video will come out at some point. But before I release that one, I thought, let's get the Fallout 4 one finished as well, and then the Fallout 3 one, if people want to see it. With all that said, welcome back to the Brickmaker channel. Remember to leave a like, remember to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below if any other challenges you want to see. And yeah, let's start the first DLC, Far Harbor. Now for most of you out here who have played Far Harbor, you know that it is a game-sized DLC. It is fantastic. It's a great storyline. It's a very interesting storyline with big decisions that you have to make. So when approaching it again, I tried to think, I'm an American soldier, World War II. What kind of decisions would I be making? And obviously the first thing I would do is help defend Far Harbor. Now Brickmaker has a lot of prior knowledge of Far Harbor, but Private Ryan doesn't. So I'm going to play through this DLC as if I have no idea of any of these factions. I also added the radium rifle to my arsenal, as many people said the radium rifle is based off a German submachine gun. So yeah, the radium rifle has been added to my arsenal of weaponry. I'll be honest now, it uses the same ammo as a spray and pray, so it gets use. I have a legendary one that does more damage against super mutants, so it's something that I use very sparingly and try to use it as much as possible when fighting super mutants, but the Thompson still it does a lot of the heavy lifting. I arrive at Arcadia and meet Dima. The reason why Private Ryan is here is because he was asked by the Nakano family to help find their daughter. Now I believe that Private Ryan at this point, his stance would be, I've been sent here to get Kasumi, I have to make sure she comes home, so whatever happens I need to help her out and help her come to that decision. Speaking to Dima, I'm already getting not very good vibes at all. I don't like him, I don't like the way he looks, I don't like the light bulbs in his head, I don't like the weird wires that come out of him. I don't like him, and I don't trust him. So we're going to make our way to go speak to the other faction in this game as well, just to get an idea of how all the different players are behaving at the start. The spray and pray shows just how powerful it is, being able to take out 3 Yao Guais just with one clip. And I arrive at the nucleus to meet with the children of Atom. Now, these seem like reasonable people. I've met religious people before, and yeah, I'm more than happy to hear these guys say the story and see what, oh my god. So yeah, my first impression is not great. They have just convinced one of them to take out the other, and now they're asking me to go drink water from a spring. That's fine, I'm always willing to give people a chance, so, oh god, oh. Where you going? Where you coming? Ghostly figure, oh. Oh, God, getting tricked into tripping out in the middle of the forest. I hope this is the first and the last time this ever happens. I hope I never have to go through this again. Fallout 3 video. But after all that, I finally arrived at the Children of Atom's shrine. Now the enemies are no longer just ghoulish figures, they're actually, well, ghouls. And I'm here to find my mother. Well, something related to a mother. Which reminds me, I should go back to Point Lookout at some point and see how my family got on. Fallout 3 video. But with me tripping in the woods, drinking dirty water and bringing back a statue of what looks like a carved poop, I'm finally able to speak to High Confessor Tectus, who, yeah, I think the radiation's melting his brain. With all that, the only people that have been somewhat reasonable have been the people of Far Harbor. The only people who have not came across as absolutely bloody mental. So for the time being, I'm going to help out those people and hear their side of the story, what they think of the nucleus and what they think of the children of Atom. First task is getting the tools for the Mariner, and I'm able to speak to Casey as well. I do get a radio about some sort of Nuka-World, maybe that'll come up later. But in the meantime, I gotta go clear out some campgrounds and speak to Captain Avery. The order in which I complete the Far Harbor quest is trying to get them all given to me at once, heading out to the island, completing them and then coming back. For Captain Avery, I'm able to fix the water purifier and the fog condensers. And while I'm out this way, I'm able to head off to the MS Azalea and clear out a bunch of raiders. I clear out a raider with the worst name in the game, and find a rad chicken. Still feels like such an Easter egg when you catch one of these guys out in the wild. Such a cool addition to Far Harbor. While I'm on this rampage though, I head over to the Dalton farm and try and take out the frog collar. I try and take a much more World War II approach. Get onto a hill, throw my frags at it, and get it into a weak position. Something that I want to do a lot more with this playthrough. I mean, the first one got a lot of comments of, this guy plays Fallout 4 like he's playing Call of Duty Online. So yeah, I want to take more of a World War II soldier tactical approach when it comes to these things. With that mindset, I am given the task of taking out a lighthouse. I storm it very tactically, take out most of them from a distance, and fight Douglas on the roof. If you guys ever watched a show called The IT Crowd, there's a character in there called Douglas who... Father! After that, I do a standard mission for a soldier of this ilk, and I go drop some meat in a swamp so I can fight giant crabs. This guy's saying hello. And stand completely still while huge crabs surround me. This is what you call tactics. I feel like the Mirelurks though are trying to hit me with a pincer move. Bad jokes aside, the spray and pray melts the legendary Mirelurk Queen. And something I've never noticed before is the Far Harbor residents who are watching. I didn't know that they would scatter if the Queen gets too close. But with those quests done, Teddy rewards me with the Captain's Hat, and I can do the last couple quests for the residents of Far Harbor. It's always good getting to this point, because I actually find them really enjoyable quests. Clearing the lumber mill was great because you can pick up the harvester from here. And taking out the ghouls around the place is by no means difficult. I grab the harvester that I'll never be able to use for this character, and go try and find Malcolm, the kind of crazed guy in the fog. At this point though, again, I'm trying to, in the mindset, I don't know who this guy is, and he's helping me. He helps me take out the crab, which I thought was a lovely thing, but he still tries to get me to make a deal to lead people here so he can eat them, and I don't think many soldiers would support that. My next quest is to go speak to Uncle Ken, who, my god, the military fatigues, the mindset, the attitude, I got a lot of respect for Uncle Ken. And when he asked for help in defending his home, you're damn right I'm going to be there. With that defense though, I come up against this legendary Grim Trapper, and he drops another weapon, a Western revolver. Again, from a lot of the comments, these type of weapons were completely usable for a World War II soldier, so I decided to add it to my arsenal as well. Uncle Ken says he doesn't want to follow me back to Far Harbor, and I respect his decision. And I go to do the worst quest of the three because it's so far away and I just gotta kill more Mirelurks. I give birth to the good news. She convinces the captain to take back the lumber mill and repopulate it, and I let Mitch know that his uncle is safe. The Mariner, however, has now given us a new quest. We gotta go take out the Red Death. And despite the humour and what the Red Death turned out to be, I believe it's good to be honest. After all the harbormen laugh at the Mariner, I decide to add another weapon to my arsenal. I found this mod for the M1 Garand while searching for video ideas in the mod menu. And I thought, what better quest to use it for than trying to save that synth. Now these are the only trappers in the game that won't attack you on sight, But despite that, they still threaten to eat me, so I decided to use my new M1 Garand on them. It's a good mod, guys. It pings really well, the reload animation is good, the weapon animations are great. It's a really nice mod, I'd recommend it if you're a fan of World War II stuff. But with that, I do head back to the Children of Atom, and I get this quest for Sister Gwyneth. This quest involves taking her out, just because she decided to, speak her truths. And the Children of Atom are by no means going up in my estimations. I decide to take a break from all the politics of the island and head over to the Vim Pop factory. The reason I'm over here is that there is a special weapon in the basement that I believe is much better fitting for my bar. I get very lucky though with my charisma check, and Kai 1.1 lets me into the room without having to bring Nick all the way over, which I just couldn't be bothered doing. And I'm able to gain access to the special combat rifle, the December's Child. Now the reason I want December's Child is 1, it doesn't use 45 ammo, which the Overseer's Guardian does. It uses 5.56, which is more assault rifle than the 45, more fitting for the weapon. Although the Overseer's Guardian is probably a better weapon overall, it does feel a bit more fitting to have the December's Child. And with my arsenal upgraded even more, I decided to go and take on my favourite quest in any game ever. I head deep into the nucleus so I can find Dima's memories. And oh boy, are we in for a treat. Oh, I know all of you are sitting, rubbing your knees and rubbing your hands, just unbelievably excited to watch this. Just the greatest and funnest and most interesting quest ever conceived. And because of these reasons, I'm going to let you guys watch all of it. We're going to sit here and watch this quest from start to fuck that. We are done. Jesus, that took me over an hour to do because I thought, let me get it all done. Maybe I'll want to use the Marine Tactical Armor one day. I bloody didn't at any point. And actually, with that quest, I took a huge break in between. I filmed the entire NCR Veteran Ranger video for Fallout 4 and then came back to this. Just how much that quest annoyed me. But with those memories, I'm able to find Avery's grave right next to December's Child. So I really didn't have to come down here first to do that. I had to do it in 2 trips. I tell Kasumi the bad news that Dima is not the best of guys. And Dima plays it exactly like a neighbour who's borrowed something. Like, what? I don't remember borrowing that. Yeah, oh, now I remember. I let Kasumi know that she should head home, but unfortunately at this point I am unable to send her back. I must resolve the tension between all the factions, so I convinced Dima that the only right thing to do is to take out the Children of Atom. And honestly, in terms of a World War II soldier, I feel like that would be the decision they made, for a couple reasons. 1, they're definitely the worst people on this island. Dima's not great, but the people in Arcadia haven't done anything wrong. Far Harbor are just trying to survive. Alan's not a good guy, but the rest of them are just trying to survive. The Children of Atom though, this kind of cult-like following is dangerous. Although a lot of the people there are nice, they are unable to break this cult feeling they have towards Atom. You also can finish the game by exploding a nuclear bomb, which, for a World War II soldier, it does feel a little bit fitting, I must admit. And with that, I head off to get the nuclear launch key. It's actually not too difficult, it's just felt with Super Mutants I'm able to use the radium rifle more than I have so far. I dive down to the sunken boat, and yeah, there it is, just sitting there. 200 years later, a nuclear launch key perfectly intact. I have the most difficult fight so far of this playthrough. The anglers, man. So dangerous, especially when you get a large group. I insert the nuclear launch key and decide, instead of letting him die in the glory of Atom, he can die in the glory of my spray and pray. With the High Confessor taken out, there's only one thing to do, and that is to escape the nucleus before that bomb goes off. When getting outside, there's only a couple Children of Atom that have gotten themselves out before it goes off, but yeah, I get this nice, beautiful look of the nucleus going boom. Look at that. Yeah, it brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? It's goddamn beautiful. However, Dima should not be forgiven for what he's done. And I do let him know that I'm telling the people of Far Harbor. Now with that, you can usually, then convince the people of Far Harbor, because I did all their quests, not to attack Arcadia. However, every time I went to Far Harbor, there was a glitch. Alan Lee would not speak to me, and Captain Avery is missing. So I unfortunately have to end the Far Harbor DLC, keeping Dima's secret, which I don't think is correct, and telling Kasumi to go back. That indeed is correct. And I even go back to try one more time to see what's going on here. And even with Dima's secret being kept, every time I go to Far Harbor, Alan Lee gathers everyone, nobody moves, and it just glitches out. But with all that, the DLC is finished and I can head back to Kenji and let him know his daughter is safe. And I get, the supply stash. Now I'll be honest, I reloaded this a few times to see what the best weapon I could get would be. And I decided to pick the irradiated M1 Garand. Mainly because it was the only weapon that wasn't legendary, so I thought, it should get a legendary variant, it should feel special too. And with my new weapon, I decided to continue on the Automatron DLC. I'd already started it at the beginning of this game, so now I'm just picking it up after you've already saved Ada, and I'm here to find some sort of radar beacon. My opinion of the Automatron DLC isn't the best. To me, it felt more like a settlement and building DLC, with a very short quest added on. Although the story is solid and it makes sense, I don't find it particularly fun, and when it comes to completing this, I usually don't bother. But this is can you beat all the DLC, so we will get ourselves through it anyway. We get the Mechanist device and head back to Ada to let her know the good news, that I'm going to be shoving the Mechanist device right into her. We now have to go hunt down another party of robots. This one was very simple because they had already attacked a group of super mutants, so I just had to come in and clean up the scraps. The irradiated M1 Garand is not the best weapon for fighting robots because I don't think radiation damage does anything to them, and have to do what I have done for this entire part 1 and part 2, head back to the spray and pray and rely on that. I head back to Ada and get a nice pat on the back, and make my way to the Fort Hagen satellite array. Now this one I wanted to play really tactically, take them out from a distance, get my explosives in. I forgot just how silly a lot of the Rust Devil's names for the robots are. I mean, Doom Protectron. I mean, that is just a bit like, like a 6-year-old named that. Here's the Doom. I'm sure there's one called the Succubus, the Rust Devil, Machine Gun Turret Mark 1. I mean, just silly, stupid names that don't make any sense. We do, however, make our way into the underground part of the satellite array and start battling our way through all the different types of robots. I mean, a legendary Mr. Handy Destroyer, a Mr. Handy Wrecker. I feel like I'm watching an old episode of Robot Wars. I mean, where's Sergeant... What were those names again? Sergeant Slaughter. No, wait, he's a wrestler. Who followed me on Twitter, by the way. So if you all guys also want to follow me on Twitter, I mean, you're in good company. Shameless plug aside, I finally make it my way to Jezebel and speak to the weird brain in a jar that also has an eye. Now, Jezebel is a bitch, but I quite like her sense of humour, so I'll take her with me. But that spawns in Ahab, one of the most dangerous enemies ever conceived in the Bethesda game. I mean, this will take hours, and he's gone. Guys, watch out, it's an Assaultron demon. Definitely bullied in high school. Now we do meet an enemy with a pretty cool and scary name. Ivy. Jesus, just saying it sends a shiver down my spine. Jokes aside though, I do like the Assaultron look with the skull. I do think that's pretty cool, so that's me not even being sarcastic. However, it is called a succubus, so, it gives and it takes. We do kind of meet the final boss of the Rust Devils, Ivy, who has some of the coolest power armor in the game and a pretty cool weapon. I mean, she might be one of the only enemies that drops special power armor pieces, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Out of all the missions for the Automatron DLC, taking out their satellite array is probably the best one. It is pretty cool. I give Jezebel a sweet body and take the nighttime and the cover of darkness to take this beachfront so I can finally meet with the Mechanist, who is clearly an evil madman. And arriving at the Robco Sales and Service Centre, I tried to put in a, customer service complaint, but there was no one working the desks. But I do find the secret room, so if I'm going to find customer support, it'll be in here. I started thinking this is a great place to pick up some fiberglass and crystals, but this junk bot decided to hit all the lasers for me, so yeah, I was unable to do that. And I started to slowly make my way through the Mechanist's lair. It is a bit annoying that you must take Ada with you at this point, or whatever robot you have that has the special laser light thing that gets you through these doors. But yeah, I don't usually put a restriction on these runs in terms of companions. I choose not to use them because I want to make the game more difficult. But I don't believe it fails a run being forced to take a companion. It's kind of like, Loyal's detonator or the BB gun shooting a rad roach in Fallout 3. You have to do it to progress the game. There's no way I can get through the Mechanist's lair without taking a companion, so yeah, I do try and run forward and take up most of these enemies by myself, but yeah, again, if you guys think that fails this run, fair enough, I won't dispute it. But with all that, we're finally able to get ourselves to the Mechanist's final chamber. And it's here where we start piecing together all the different information we've received. Now, the Mechanist has been calling us the bad person, the evil people, and has been maintaining this idea that the robots are out there to help. So I do believe that Private Ryan at this point would start to question, is this person evil or is this person stupid? But before we can even finish that conversation, the Mechanist sent a bunch of different robots to try and take us out. Now, I'll be honest, I was getting a little bit arrogant at this point. Everything had been pretty easy, and I unfortunately took a death. I hope I'm not too far back. Oh, what door am I at? Crap! 20 minutes of wasted time later, I finally do get back to the Mechanist again, and I decide to take a little bit more of a cautionary approach to this fight. Get this sweet shot of a dual bot hitting that Assaultron laser. But again, it's not enough for the spray and pray. With all the robots taken out and the power dying, the Mechanist agrees to come down and speak to us face to face. We let them know that the Rust Devils and all the different robots they've been sending out have been taking out innocent people, attacking innocent caravans, and are finally willing to meet us face to face. I ask them who they are, and for some reason that fails, but luckily for me, they tell me anyway and show me who they are, so yeah, persuasion attempt really did fail there. With that, I felt like the dialogue options are quite important, because the Mechanist has not done anything malicious, but has really made a huge error in terms of their orders, in terms of their interpretation, and, kind of burying their head in the sand after all of it was going wrong. So I tell them to stand down like a good colonel would. I don't let them away with it, I let them know it was bad, but I also give them the opportunity to fix their mistake. Because the Mechanist isn't an evil person. They give me access to the computer, and I am finally able to shut it all down. And with that, we have 2 DLCs down, 1 to go. And I did say that, 1 to go. As we listen to the Nuka-Cola family radio, some of you might be asking, but Brickmaker, isn't there the Vault 88 DLC? No. No, there isn't. I can't be bothered. The only thing I would do is go over there and take out the Overseer. I wouldn't do all the experiments. I'm not wasting my time. And I get to the Nuka-World Transit Center. Playing the DLC again, it reminds me that although they have Far Harbor, which might be one of the best DLCs ever made for a Fallout game, it also has some absolute stinkers. I believe the Automatron DLC isn't great. I think the Vault 88 DLC is crap. Unless you're really into settlement building and as we watch this gunner fly away from that grenade. It's not my cup of tea. But we do move on to the final DLC of Fallout 4, Nuka-World, and I gotta come over here and speak to Harvey. Now, Private Ryan doesn't have the knowledge that Brickmaker has, and I try my damn best to try and help this Harvey guy. And his story is so heartwarming and, brings out a lot of empathy for Private Ryan. Helping a man's family from evil people. That's the whole reason we joined the army. And we decided to travel to Nuka-World to help Harvey's family. Get a very nice kind of sunrise look as we enter Nuka-World. We arrive at the Nuka-Cola station, and it is very apparent to Private Ryan that we have been led into a trap. We have been forced into a gauntlet. Some big nonsense trap to try and take us out before we can even reach any of these raiders. Now the gauntlet's not too difficult to traverse if you know what you're doing. And Private Ryan's able to run his way through it pretty quickly. Luckily he has some sort of foresight or third eye that knows where all the keys are. We fight our way through all the different mirelurks, get ourselves trapped into a gassed room, and get attacked by a swarm of flying ants. I mean, this could be the worst day ever. I'm able to somehow stab a collective swarm with a single-bladed knife, and they were very kind to leave me a bunch of grenades that I could pick up. I get to listen to Overboss Coulter give me some big rah-rah speech, and at this point my rage is unbound. I did not get thrown out of a boat at Normandy 700 times at this point to fall into the water, wake up in a bathroom, wake up being born, wake up in a ditch, just to be dragged into this goddamn gauntlet with a guy named after a fucking car part, to end up being crushed by some asshole in electrified armor who for some reason attached himself to the roof. At this point, this is the most frustrated, the most angry, the most just filled with contempt Private Ryan has felt in any of these challenge runs so far. And with finally taking out this overboss, we can speak to the guy that set all this up, Gage. Now Gage lets us know that he saved our lives because he wants us to become the new leader, almost the new general of this small army. Now at first you might think, that sounds interesting, General, Army, Private Ryan, but I spoke to the people at the Nuka-Town market. I spoke to all the slaves and all the people who have been captured by these raiders. And when I make my way up to the meeting with Gage to discuss how to lead this small army, how to operate the raiders of Nuka-World, how to grow this into its own fighting force, I give him some very subtle hints and some outs to what we should be doing. They don't need me. I don't need this hassle, but Gage is insistent. And there's only one real option that I think Private Ryan would do when it faced with these raiders. And that's to activate the quest open season and to fail an ambitious plan. To liberate the wastelanders, to liberate the merchants of this place. The people who have been taken, the people who have to live in servitude of these horrible, disgusting raiders. The idea of being a real general, a real colonel, and leading my own army feels somewhat fitting. But everything else Private Ryan's ever done, everything else that they fought for on those beaches, everything they fought for in Vegas, everything they fought for in the Commonwealth against the Institute, fighting for the Minutemen, he would never side with these people. He would never support these people. He would never help these people. What he would do is destroy these people. And that is exactly what I do. With ammo running low, with plenty of grenades, Private Ryan sets out to wipe out all 3 gangs from Nuka-World. Now I'll tell you right now, this was not easy, and there's a lot of deaths that you guys didn't see. Taking out just the regular wasters and scavers and all the different low-level raiders, not really a problem. The numbers game is sometimes a little bit of a problem. but mostly it's just about taking your time, popping in and out of cover, using your grenades wisely, and moving from bit to bit to make sure you've got the best opportunity to take these guys out. And usually if you get right up close and personal with them, it doesn't take too much to take one of these guys down. The real test is the gang's hideouts, where all the different people and leaders sit and plan their disgusting acts. And I decide with the ammo that I've got that I better work from the most difficult to the easiest gangs to wipe out. So I start off with the disciples. The reason I think these guys are the hardest is because they have 3 leaders and they have unbelievable health pools. You gotta take out Nisha, Savoy, and just the worst person in any Fallout game, Dixie. If you guys want an infuriating quest to do, go follow Dixie's all the different little tapes that she leaves around. She's just the most disgusting, despicable person in any Fallout game. And if you disagree with that, leave a comment down below to who you think is. But with all that said, at this point, wiping out the disciples isn't the problem, it's getting these leaders. They have stim packs, they have tons of health, and like I said before, I don't have the biggest amount of ammo left, so I gotta use my different types of weapons very, very tactically. I didn't think that though with the frag grenade. I decided to throw every single one of them at them. And look at Nisha here, she is getting direct impact from the spray and pray, and her health very rarely moves its way down. I do eventually take her out though, and she is the main leader of the disciples, so now I just gotta take out the other 2. Savoy tries to use melee weapons, so that's not too much of a problem, as long as I keep my distance I should be able to take him out. But it does stop me from using my melee weapon, which again, like I said, with the ammo problem that I'm currently having, I wish I could use it a bit more. And with that, we've just got the final mutt left, Dixie. You can find audio tapes of her, like just doing the worst type of scummy behavior just to innocent people. And yeah, it's satisfying having her as the last one, because you do want to take your time finishing her off. But she, you know what, even in death, she gets one last little she says finally when you take her out, that last little bit of she got something she wanted, which she pisses me off. So I decide to head right over to the parlor to deal with the operators. The operators are pretty difficult to wipe out as well, but they do only have 2 real leaders with high health, so it's slightly easier than the disciples. And luckily I've picked up a bit more ammo and a bunch more Molotovs, so taking them out it's not easier, but I do have a bit more weaponry at my disposal. And I can use my melee weapon as well, my Pickman's Blade, my combat knife, as no one in here really uses melee weapons to block. I eventually wipe out all the other operators around, just leaving William Black and Mags Black left. Now the really annoying thing about these 2 is that they constantly use stim packs, which means you take out a lot of their health and they get it straight back. My biggest concern was just running out of ammo, so I had to think tactically, how am I going to get these guys? And I thought, well, I'll use my deliverer, I'll use, VATs. And I started noticing that the damage that I'm doing is pretty low. And especially for someone like William Black, I mean, that's about what, 10, 12 VAT shots straight to the face, and I've took up maybe 20% of his health, which he'll just get straight back. Instead I decided just to use the bar with the VATs, and actually the damage that you get with that is much bigger. So this fight is pretty much just 2 sponges shooting each other until one of us eventually falls, which luckily isn't me. With the operators taken out, I can start making my way towards the pack. But before I do that, I also want to clear out the marketplace, because those innocent people don't deserve to die. I also take out all the different raiders that are surrounding the market, and take out Shank. Because if you played through the quest line, Private Ryan doesn't know this, but you'll know that Shank is pretty much the brains of invading the Commonwealth, so he's got to go as well. I make my way into the market and make sure I don't take out any of the Wastelanders or any of the merchants that aren't involved in this. I'm only here for the raiders. With the market cleared, I can finally make my way over to the amphitheater and take out the final gang. Now, although I think the pack is the easiest gang to take out, they're actually my favourite gang in the game. I really like Mason. I really like the fact that you can intimidate him and he'll give you a weapon so he doesn't lose face in front of the rest of his gang. But they are the easiest because they've only got one leader, which means they've only got one, member that is difficult to take out, and that's Mason. The rest of the pack members is just about smartly, tactically, sitting behind cover and taking them out as they run around. I'm thinking as well this will be my last big fight of this run, so I might as well use all my weapons, all my ammo and all my grenades and thin out the pack so there's only Mason left. With that though, Mason does finally come out and take me on one-on-one, and I was able to pick up some more ammo for the M1 Garand, which would have been so handy against William and Mags Black because their irradiated feature, it makes their actual health bar smaller. So every time I'm shooting Mason here, he can't heal this back. Meaning every time I need to take a break to heal myself, he's not going to come back with a bunch of stim packs himself. I do however get a bit tested though. Mason is an absolute tank to take down. But luckily with this being an amphitheater, there's a bunch of different stages and cages that I can run around, giving me enough cover to finally take out Mason. And with that, I'm able to go speak to Mackenzie and let her know that the entirety of Nuka-World has been liberated. They can do with their lives as they choose. There is no more restrictions, there is no need to stay here, but they do choose to reopen the market and bring life back to Nuka-World. And with all that, there's only one thing left to do. With Nuka-World liberated, it's finally time to bring back the beauty and the pageantry of this place. It's what they deserve, the poor people who have been put through hell by the raiders. Entering the power plant, I clear out a couple ghouls and make my way to the roof. I open the security gate and indeed answer the question, yes, you can beat all of Fallout 4's DLC as a World War II soldier. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. Join my Discord, follow me on X, all the links are down below. Watch part 1, watch the other World War II videos, and I will be bringing you guys some new content next week. I know it's been a lot of World War II videos recently, and I know you guys have really enjoyed them, but yeah, next week there'll be a new, different type of video, nothing to do with World War II. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.